All right, Shalom, Shalom. First things first, I want to give all honor and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. We give double honors to our apostle elders, which apostle elders at Great Millstone, to you hopeful men out there on the four corners of the planet Earth, that's pushing this truth, confusion, and faith. We got a few sisters that do listen. We're in the time of the end. Beautiful things are taking place. We got 2020 has shown itself to be one of the top years for the truth and the word's sake. All right, because bad things happening is not good. It's not bad for us. It's bad for the world and the nations. So we're gonna jump in. This video is gonna be on the situation with Jared Kushner, the situation he spoke about, so-called Negroes' plight or Negroes' hardships in America because they don't want to try hard. That's not right. That's incorrect. Because the reasons that Negroes have it hard in America, if you go to the real reason, because they're cursed from the Heavenly Father. All right. So there's nothing that no policies can do, no kind of money you can throw at it. Doesn't matter how much cash comes to the problem, it's not going to fix it because the problem was done by Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and that's the only way it's going to be resolved. So this right here, the way he's saying it's a proud saying because they're trying to say that they can stop the plight and the hardships of Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans if they vote for them. But no, this is by design. That's what you have to understand, that our hardship and us being at the bottom is by design. And once you understand that, then you can figure out who designed it that way, who made it that way. Then once you figure out who made it that way, then you ask yourself, how do we make it not that way? How do we fix it? Once you understand how you fix it, then you come back to the Heavenly Father with weeping and tears, man, and a sorrowful heart, for the things that we've done. We're still sinning to the day. All of us are still, trying and striving and rehearsing the righteous acts. But you got some of our people that don't even want to look towards this at all or even ask how to get it fixed. They want to just either live their life and just, do whatever they have to do to maintain and survive. Or you got some that join to the society and try to, sell their soul out or, do some kind of things where they can get money out of this thing and make it easier. All right. So I'm gonna play this video, and the guy that does the YouTube video, he's gonna speak a little bit, and then I'm gonna bring out some scriptures.
So, look, there's been a lot of discussion about the issues that were needed in the black community for the last years, but particularly it intensified after the George Floyd situation. And, you saw a lot of people who were just virtue signaling. They'd go on Instagram and cry, or they would, put a slogan on their jersey or write something on a basketball court. And quite frankly, that was doing more to polarize the country than it was to bring people forward. You solve problems with solutions.
But
just what people want to hear.
But listen to this. The same thing is what Trump did. When he was supposed to speak about an issue, he didn't speak about an issue. He was supposed to speak about the situation with George Floyd and different things like that, but he didn't speak about it. Why didn't he speak about it? Why didn't he speak about it? Because he wasn't worried about it. He co-signed with the Proud Boys, a so-called racist group of Edomites, that are avid so-called racists. But when people point it out, he won't speak against it. He won't speak against it. But when so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, when Jake speaks out about what's happening to them, they tell them to be quiet. That's the same thing Edomites talked about the football players. You guys got money. What are you mad about? Instead of saying that they have a right to so-called be angry, they said you don't have you got money. Sit down somewhere. That I heard a lot of Edomites say that LeBron James and these stars, these football players should be kneeling because they got money. They're rich. What are they mad about? So that doesn't say anything about their people. Why do you think the so-called Trump supporters are so-called mad? Because their people is upset. You got rich so-called Trump supporters. Why are they mad about their country? Huh? Why are they mad about their country? You can be like the same way. Why y'all angry? You got money. You want to get America great. America is great. You're a success. You're a success. You got riches. You got a so-called status in the world. Why are you so-called wanting to make this? Isn't it good as is? So it's hypocrisy, man. It's hypocrisy. But that's a part of our plight, man. So I'm gonna let him speak because he goes in. He hopefully they don't flag me, but this guy says I'm gonna go precepts off him, but just watch how he gets down.
Is a cartoon character, White Guy McGee, multi-millionaire, grew up in the lap of luxury with a silver spoon shoved into one of many orifices. Talk about what's good for the black community. Jared Kushner. The other thing that I find egregious and offensive is for him to call the murder of George Floyd at the hands of armed agents of the state, for him to call it the George Floyd situation, holding to account no one. A situation is this nebulous thing in the ether. There's no one to blame. That's a situation. It wasn't a situation. It was murder in the streets of Minneapolis that the world witnessed. Jared Kushner.
Oh man, let me get this precept. But we're not asking for no justice and no peace from them. Our justice is gonna come from Yahbashim Yahshua, point blank, and that justice is gonna be long and hard, and it's gonna be full of all types of turns, and it's gonna be a wild ride, man. All right, it's definitely gonna be a wild ride. Let me get this precept real quick. This is Proverbs 20 and 17, because he made a point. He said the guy he hasn't had to work for nothing. He's a multi-millionaire, owns real estate. You know, he's an Amalekite. He's doing his thing. He's never been in hardships. He's never had to eat Roman noodles and McDonald's and worry about where your next meal, or your mama's a crackhead and your daddy left the house and he beat, he's never had to worry about that. So why is it that he has the mindset to think that he could actually speak about those things? That's why the Lord said we must go through experience. We experience hardships and curses and in the darker side of the underbelly of Jake. So some of us came out of different situations, but the Lord had us dip our foot in the water, as you may say, to at least know we can speak about it. Some of us went through those things where you don't know when you're gonna eat, man. You don't know where you're gonna sleep at. You don't know you got a broken home. You got parents addicted to objects or addicted to things, and you know what I'm saying. You see breaking down, and there's no love and hugs. Jared Kushner probably sat around and ate dinner and talked to his parents about things. And you know what I'm saying? But he can't. I have the audacity. If you've never experienced something, you can't speak about it and nonetheless try to champion it. You can't do that. You can't champion a war you never fought. So, and this is not trying to be, I'm not, rah and being upset. This is real facts. This is what we're looking at. Okay? Because one thing is that the curses Yahbashim Yahushua is the reason this is going on. It's not a making of our situation or either side. The Lord used Esau to make this situation and to make the bondage hard on us, the yoke on us. This is Proverbs 20 and 17. It says, bread of deceit is sweet to a man. And that's what you see. All right. This is the bread. This is the bread of the lies that's been pushed out here. And it seems okay. That's why people swallow it. Oh, everything's all right. And there's no racial thing going on. And no, that's a bread of deceit. You're believing the lie. Just like some white people say, oh, I didn't do nothing. I wasn't there. I'm not responsible. But you're reaping the benefits of it, and you're continuing the system that they set in place. If every so-called a white person gave up their so-called power and just say, okay, let's make everything equal, we wouldn't have the racism on the police officers. We wouldn't have the criminal justice that's like that. It takes people to make things go like that. It takes wheels to move a car. It takes a gears to move a wheel, man. So there's apparently something moving that wheel. Is animated. It's still moving from back then, and it's worse. It says, bread of deceit is sweet to a man, but afterwards his mouth shall be full of gravel. All right? Hard. It's going to be a hard swallow. Okay? It's going to be a hard swallow. What's the word for deceit? That's shakar. Shakar. All right? It says lie, deception, disappointment, falsehood, deceit. What devices or disappointment or betrays one? Deceit, fraud, wrong. So what he said, the bread of wrong, the bread of fraud, fraudulently, wrongfully, falsehood, test falsehood, false oath, swear falsely, vain, in vain. So he said that in vain because everybody's in an uproar about the comment that he mentioned, because even white people know it's wrong, man. He even knows.
Yesterday,
White House
Senior Advisor Jared Kushner was talking up how much this administration has done for the black community, and
you even got these so-called these women on that show, so-called speaking out, but we ain't worry about them too much. Let's go back to here. All right. Oh, let me get one more precept real quick. This is the well-known precept. This is Zechariah 11:5. Zechariah 11 and verse 5. Says, let's go to verse 4, 11:4. Thus saith the Lord power, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them, because we're the lambs of Yahweh Shem Shai. That's why it says, feed my sheep. When Yahweh told Peter, if you love me, feed my sheep. So we're the lambs of Yahweh Shem Shai, man. So that's why it says the slaughter. It says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. So his administration is behind. Jacob died behind his administration. Negroes are still losing their life behind the so-called guise of Babylon the Great. But it says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. And their own shepherds pity them not. So we don't have pity from our own shepherds. And Ice Cube is a false shepherd, man. Ice Cube is a false shepherd. That's why he's a shepherd that pities us not, man. That should be another video. False shepherds. They're trying to step in the way. You've been living decadent and doing what you've been doing and leaving your people out here. Now all of a sudden you want to be a champion of the people to put a plan together. How much money they so-called planned in the past and it didn't work, man.
You know nothing. You skillless, feckless.
He going in. Y'all went and watch this video, and then let's play this part. Now they want to play the ad, man. I don't want to get strike on that. Let me. Here's it.
That all the different bad things that the media will support the black community.
And Monday.com has transformed the way we work.
Said about President Trump are not true.
Boy, am I
All right, let's not. All right, let's play it. Here we go.
Black community, which is mostly Democrat, is that. And again, one thing we've seen in a lot of the black community, which is most.
Hey, do you want to know how we built a $50 million coaching company with just one?
Mostly Democrat, is that President Trump's policies are the policies that can help people break out of the problems that they're complaining about, but he can't want them to be successful more than they want to be successful. And what you're seeing throughout the country now is a groundswell of support in the black community, because they're realizing that all the different bad things that the media and the Democrats have said about President Trump are not true. And so they're seeing that he's actually delivered, he's put up results, and a lot of people want to get on board to start working with President Trump, because they know that, unlike most politicians who have been in Washington for decades, who talk and say all the right things, President Trump may not always say the right things, but he does the right things. He says what's on his mind, and he gets he gets results. And so people want results. They're tired of politicians who are promising things and not delivering.
Well, he does say what's on his mind.
Man, that says for itself. Sometimes when something comes out on that level, you just gotta peek. You just let the audience deal with it, you know. You know, that's why it says groanings that you can't even describe, man. You just let it go, man. You know, this is First Timothy. You don't yell, you don't get mad. You leave it in the hands of the Lord, man. This is the book of First Timothy 6 and verse 9. It says, "But they that be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which draw men in destruction and perdition." So just like he's a multi-millionaire, Trump's rich. All these other politicians are very wealthy, man. Not as wealthy as the super elites, but they feel in the temptation of if you give up that, because if you put us on the same level, that you're getting that money and the fruits off somebody's back to get that equality in pay. I think it's like the average white, I think it's like 3 to 4 to one household. One white family makes as much as 3 to 4 black American families. Let's look it up. Let's look it up, so we can get some more understanding on that. You know, what is it? One white look. Let's see the gap, because everything's the same, right? Oh, we don't want to try. You see Jake right there. Jake will try the hardest. They'll get lined up. They'll get up in the morning, put 15 applications in, you know, to try to make that thing happen, but it don't ever get happen. All right, let's read this, and it says, close examination in Wealthy United. This came out in, let's see the date, 2020. It says, closely examine the wealth in the U.S. finds evidence in staggering racial disparities. At 171,000, the net worth of a typical white family is nearly 10 times greater than that of a black family. 17,000 in 2016. Goodness gracious. Understand that. You got an average white family making almost $200,000, and the average Jake family, black family, has $17,000. Not even 20. Let's say $20,000. That's ridiculous, man. Oh man, Lord, come get us. It says gaps in wealth between black and white households reveal that effects of acclimated equality and discrimination, as well as different in power and opportunity that can be traced back to the nation's inception. The black-white wealth gap reflects a society that is not and does not afford equally or opportunities to all its citizens. So that's BS, man. That's the bread of deceit. That's what's going to be the name of this lesson, the bread of deceit. Jared Kushner's eating the bread of deceit. You know, I just put bread of deceit. So, like I said, Lord willing, this is edifying. Let me go back to make sure I got all this on here. Let me see here. Let's get this last one. This is Proverbs 21 and 13. Bring this out. This is Proverbs 21 and 13. Whoso stoppeth his ears at the cry of the poor, he also shall cry himself, but shall not be heard. That's just like the woman with the 7 sons in the Maccabees, man. Okay, the Maccabees. You see that she said the son You know, we're telling Esau, look, man, you have no redemption in life, man. You're done. You're through. Whatever you want to say, it's being put out for you. All right, because we are the poor and we're crying to you. That's what protests are. That's what justice, no peace. That's the poor crying to you and you ignoring their prayers. So what does it say? Whoso stoppeth his ears at the cry of the poor, he also shall cry himself, but shall not be heard. See? So with that, I want to give all praise and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Barakadash, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Barakadash. Shalom, I keep faith, keep fighting, keep pushing towards that goal. We almost home. Shalom.